Welcome. Namaste. My name is Natalie Sari. I'm a physiologist and kinesiologist, providing the therapeutic and practical tools of yoga for every day. And today's episode is specifically for yoga for pregnancy, and this will be the second part of this series. Prenatal yoga is an excellent option for exercise for expecting moms, as it helps to strengthen, stretch, release. There's so many wonderful physical benefits, but of course the mental benefits of stress reduction. And what I consider to be the most important is connection to the baby. Today, this little being is 38 weeks, just shy of it. Only 2 weeks to go. And it's absolutely incredible to see the transformation of the physical body throughout this time in pregnancy. And I have found personally, as I've been watching this transformation, that I'm not able to do some of the things that other pregnant moms have been able to do. I've explored a lot of different prenatal classes in our community that have been wonderful, but with my background in kinesiology and yoga therapy, I couldn't help but study and research prenatal yoga much deeper. So I hope that today's episode provides a little bit more insight and information around yoga for pregnancy, perhaps more in the later trimesters, second and third trimester, but of course you could practice this anytime throughout your pregnancy. There are many benefits to practicing yoga for pregnancy as a form of exercise to maintain a healthy fitness, maintain a healthy body weight as you transform, and also reducing your risk for things like gestational diabetes, preeclampsia, and depression, which we all know it can be a major challenge for a lot of expecting moms as well as postpartum. You can use your yoga practice as a form of preparation to learn various techniques that you can utilize while you're going through the birth process. Before you start your practice, first it's important to consult with your physician or midwife to ensure that yoga is safe for your body or any new form of exercise. There are a few precautions and things to consider before starting a yoga practice. Firstly, we need to consider the transformation happening in the body. Every woman, every pregnancy is so unique. So what we might do today may not work for you at this stage. Maybe it will later, maybe not. So please remember to listen to your body and listen to your baby. We need to remember that our body is changing rapidly. Our joints could be vulnerable. The body releases a hormone called elastin so that the tissues can soften to help prepare for birth. But with that, it happens everywhere. So things like the knees can become compromised. So just be mindful with how much you are stretching within the poses. Secondly is breathing. And you might notice me today having to pause or take a deep breath. And that's because there is more and more pressure on the diaphragm with the growing abdomen. So it can be difficult to breathe. You may have also noticed changes in your heart rate. We need to remember that in pregnancy, we gain 40 to 50% more blood volume. It's absolutely amazing, very necessary for pregnancy. But with that, that increases our blood pressure. Heart rate can increase by 15 beats per minute just at rest. And of course, stroke volume, cardiac output, all of that is affected. So it's important to move slowly, to pay attention if you feel your heart rate increasing rapidly, and take rests as needed. So let's take a few moments to get settled in and started for practice. Today we may use multiple props, a chair, you could use a wall. We'll go over some different variations for you to have different modifications, different practices based on how you're feeling in the moment. As always, we'll begin our practice opening to grace, setting an intention of connection. Take a moment, rub your belly, feel your baby. Invite it to practice with you. As we take conscious deep breaths, we can draw our attention down through our brain, through our heart center, and down towards our baby. If you've ever practiced chanting or even singing, that is another wonderful practice. At this point, your baby knows you very well. It hears your voice every single day. It feels your vibrations. It feels you. So when we take the time to breathe deeply, to chant or to sing, we can have quite a deep connection to our baby through vibration. It can be as simple as a humming sound of a song, or in yoga, what we often use is the sound of Om, which is the universal sound. So we'll start our practice with that today. You may close your eyes and sit tall. Take a clearing breath in through your nose. Exhale out the mouth. Big breath in for Om. You may repeat that a bunch of times. It's really a lovely sensation for both you and the baby. As we move into our practice, sitting up on something is generally much more comfortable. We need to support the sacroiliac joints, the lumbar spine. Sitting on a little block, such as this, a bolster, some pillows, whatever you have can be helpful. Or you could even have your practice from a chair, which I've been doing a lot as well. We'll start off sliding the feet forward so that the feet are together. This is called Baddha Konasana, or the butterfly shape. And, in non-pregnant yoga practice, this is quite a common pose, and it was one of my favorite poses, but I have found it to be quite uncomfortable in my SI joints if I sit on the floor. So taking the feet a little bit further away can create more space. This posture is really wonderful to help increase mobility in the pelvis. There's 4 plates within the pelvic girdle, and the baby needs to pass through birth, through the canal. So as we can work on a little bit more opening or creating space in this place, it of course will help with birth, but just be gentle. If you feel any sharp shooting discomfort in the SI joints down your legs, if you feel any discomfort, please adjust. You can support your legs if that's comfortable with your hands. You can also take 2 blocks under your knees. Feel free to sit nice and tall. You could have your hands behind, or you could take them forward, walking forward a little bit. But just be mindful in the later stages of pregnancy, we don't want to compress the belly. We want to create space and open the front body. So you might not be going to that forehead to foot pose that you used to do, and that's absolutely okay. What we're here to do is to optimize our birth and connect to our baby. I'd like you now to hone in a little bit deeper into your body to the very base of the pelvis, the pelvic floor. This exercise is very common, I would say, in a lot of prenatal classes. Kegel exercise is one of the terms. In yoga terms, we call this Mula Bandha. So it's a gentle gathering of the pelvic floor muscles. It's a grouping of muscles. And there's a lot of ideas around this of doing too much can be too much, and not doing it can be a problem too. So I'd like you to more or less just bring your awareness to this place and make sure that you have the ability to gather and engage, but also the ability to release. Being able to gather and engage can help prevent urinary incontinence. And of course, after the 2nd and 3rd trimester, as there's greater weight pressing down on the pelvic floor, that can be more of a problem. But also, as we go through the birthing process, it's important that we're able to fully relax the muscles when the time is right. So they're needed for support, but we also need to be able to relax them. You may close your eyes and think of gathering those muscles in and up, holding there, and then releasing. See if you can gather them and breathe at the same time. So you take a deep breath in and an exhale out, and still holding that same level of contraction. Still holding, take another big breath in, exhale out, and then release. So you may practice that throughout the day. Don't overdo it, but make sure that you maintain a connection to this place. Slowly bring the knees back to center. You may cross them, or if it's more comfortable, you could take yourself into a kneeling position. And I've been enjoying sitting on a block for support. You could have your knees separate or slightly apart. You might find you have your knees and your feet wider than hip width more often as your belly expands. Take a big breath in, reach your arms out and up, full inhalation. As you exhale, draw your hands down through the center line. Connect down to the baby. Inhale, reach out and up. Exhale, down and out. Inhale, reach out and up. Exhale. Draw the chin down, descend the head towards the heart, towards the baby. Inhale, lift the chin, lift the chest, open the front body. Exhale, you may add a little bit more mobility to the spine by rounding the spine. And then lifting. So similar to what you would do with cat-cow on your hands and knees, but in a kneeling position. Inhale to lift, open the chest, lift the heart. Exhale, bow in. Good. Coming back to neutral position, and then let's move to hands and knees. If it's more comfortable to have a blanket for your knees, please do. I enjoy it. Hands shoulder width apart, knees hip distance or a touch wider. Finding neutral spine, and it might be difficult to know what neutral spine is unless you have a mirror that you can peek over to see yourself. Think of softening your low back just a little, pressing into your upper back slightly with both hands, and then make sure that you're not collapsing into the neck, so drawing the shoulders back. Start with a few shoulder rolls. Rolling the shoulders, drawing them back. Let the head be loose for a moment. Give it a shake side to side. Find neutral, gazing between your hands. Moving in between the shoulder blades, press the floor away, softening the heart down. Then begin to move into your low back. Tuck the tailbone a little, and then lift the tailbone. You may notice cat-cow for you, or these movements on hands and knees are different once you have this baby in your belly. Not able to draw the navel in and up as you did before. If you can, keep your belly a bit looser, pretty relaxed, especially when you go into extension. Let it relax completely, and when you press up to round and flexion, keep the belly gently relaxed. Good. Slowly move to child's pose. You can take your knees nice and wide. You might notice that your body has more space. You could use one of these blocks if you'd like a little something for your forehead to rest on, staying on your forearms. Child's pose is really wonderful as it opens the hips if you have this wide knee position. It's a resting place. calms the body, calms the nervous system, and allows the belly to relax. Inhale, breath. Exhale. Slowly rise up, coming back up to your hands and knees. Shaking the hips a little side to side. You could move them side to side, or you could even start to draw circles with your hips. You can become creative with your movement, getting a little bit into the side body. The ribs can become quite compressed and uncomfortable as your belly grows. Change direction of the circle, even it out. Maybe add the head and the neck into it as well. Move around. Good. Finding neutral spine again. There's lots of other wonderful practices you can do on your hands and knees that we did last time, but let's do some different ones today. So one will be to take the leg off and slide it out to the side. So when you slide your leg out to the side, you'll be able to find a really nice groin stretch through that left adductor. You can play with where your foot is positioned, more hamstring, pressing away, shifting your hips more to the right. Good. Keep the right hand down. Lift your left arm up to the sky. Gently twisting, trying to keep an openness through the torso as you twist so that we're not compressing the abdomen. Other arm, see how it feels to lift your left arm. Good. Slowly release, slide the leg all the way across, and then slide your right leg behind. We'll move into what's called the pigeon pose. You might find it's more comfortable to have a block lightly under your hip. We want to keep the pelvis neutral. Don't be concerned about trying to lift your lower leg, your shin up high. Just let it go where it feels comfortable. Press into the outer edge of the pinky toe. And then notice your back leg, if it's flopping, try to extend it back so that it's coming out directly from your hip socket. You could even come up onto your fingertips, lifting up, square the hips. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, soften. The sleeping pigeon. Again, feel free to utilize something for the head to rest on, such as a block, and allow your body to soften. Here, there's a nice space for your belly to rest. Big breath in. Inhale to rise up. Coming back onto your hands and knees. Take a big breath here. Exhale. Slide the other leg out. So this time, right leg slides out to the side. Notice this side. Notice if it is different than the other side, if it feels tight. Play with different positions with your foot. Find the spot that suits you. Good. Again, lifting one arm. Start with your right arm, reaching out and up. Push the floor away with your left. Exhale, lower the hand. Switch to the other side. Left arm reaches out and up. Exhale to release. Slide the right leg in. Take it across. Left leg slides back. So let's move the little block to the other side. Pressing into your pinky toe edge of the foot, just so that the ankle doesn't sickle. Slide your other leg straight back, square the hips, and take a nice deep breath in. Exhale. Whenever you're ready, lower down to the sleeping pigeon on the other side. Allow the forehead to rest so that the neck can relax, the whole upper back, mid back, and low back relaxes. Deep breaths. Slowly rise up on your next inhalation. Coming back to hands and knees. Good. You might notice at this stage in your pregnancy that downward facing dog is not feeling so good anymore. What I've been enjoying is coming down more to a forearm position. So you could have your forearms on your mat, elbows shoulder width. Your hands could be down or hands together. We'll start here with the knees down. This is called the puppy pose, and it's really wonderful because it's opening the front of our body. The abdomen can relax, chest can soften. You could stay here and have your head on a block, or you could slide a little bit more forward, bringing your head down. There's always ways to deepen this pose, so do whatever feels comfortable for you, but let's remember that we want to keep our belly nice and soft and relaxed. Take a big breath here. Exhale. One more. Exhale, let it go. Slowly walk yourself back up to your knees. And this time coming to a kneeling position. If kneeling works for you, I have to use a blanket these days as one of my knees is bothersome. Allow the belly to soften. Feel your hips for a moment now. Notice the pelvis. Often what happens as our belly grows, we go into greater extension and too deep of a lordosis. So rather than just tucking under, because that isn't solving the problem, it might be correcting too much. You may have a subtle drawing down of the tailbone, but think of lifting and rising up through the rib cage, creating more space, greater space for this growing baby. Hands will come to either the low back or somewhere around the back side. Take a big breath in, lift the chest, open the heart. Exhale. Back bends, deep back bends, not really recommended later stages of pregnancy, but you could take a mini version of that. If it's more comfortable to curl your toes under, you could try that. But think more of lifting up through the chest, opening your shoulders, pressing your hips forward a little bit, and go to what feels comfortable for you. One more breath. Good. Exhale, release, coming back down. Come back to your forearms. Coming back to the floor to your forearms. Curl the toes under, lift up to a downward dog, but from the forearms, it's also called the dolphin. You can take your feet wider, press the floor away with your arms, keep the belly soft. Big breaths. Good, come down as you're ready. Child's pose, knees super wide this time. Create space, you might bring yourself down a bit lower with your forehead to the floor this time. Belly relaxed. Slowly walk yourself back up to your knees. And from here, we'll move to standing. Readjusting a few props. We'll start with the right knee on a pillow or a chip block. You could use these other two blocks for your hands. Or if you have a chair, you can use the chair, which is wonderful. Think of, again, tucking the tailbone down, and allowing the right side of your hip flexors to open. You could keep your hands on the chair for stability so that you can relax a little more. Take a big breath in. Exhale. To add a deeper stretch, you may reach your right arm up and lean a little over towards the left side. You could also take your left hand onto the block directly under the shoulder. Big breath in. Good. Slowly release. Slowly coming up to standing. So you could use the chair for support. When we move to standing, sometimes you can feel a little lightheaded from the change in blood pressure. So just be cautious of that. Standing poses in general, we want to have support available, so a chair or the wall, just so that we are safe in case we were to lose our balance. Tree pose, Vrikshasana, you may keep your foot a little bit lower than you normally do. Notice the change in your hips and your pelvis, maybe even using one hand to help support and open that knee. Or you could take your foot higher and maybe you use your hand to hold and support. If you'd like to practice letting go, one hand or both hands onto your belly, take a big breath in, exhale. You may notice your balance is not as good these days. It's very common. One more big breath. Maybe changing the arm position as you let go and bring yourself back to center. Good. We'll step the legs out. Right foot stays forward, left leg back for warrior two. Knee over ankle, left leg straight and strong. Again, you could use the chair for stability. You could keep one hand onto your belly. You can reach your arms out if you like. Big breath in. Exhale. One more breath. Exhale, release, straighten the leg. Trikonasana triangle pose. You may use the chair. You may use one of these blocks and place it to the inside of your leg. A little bend of your knee is recommended so that you don't lock out in the right knee. Feel free to keep this left hand on your hip, on your low back, or extending it up. Big breath in. Exhale. Continue to reach up rather than collapsing down into your right hand. Good. Slowly release your arm, gaze down. It'll help you with balance. And then rise back up. From here, let's do all of that on the other side. But first, I'd like it if you could walk your feet in and find a position where you're in a comfortable squat that works for you. So for some, it'll be wide feet. Some, it may be narrower. If your heels lift off the floor, you could take a blanket and tuck it underneath. Think of how you can create space in your pelvis with the help of your arms, your elbows. You might even feel comfortable moving a little bit side to side first and peeling the feet off, being gentle with the knees and the hips. And then find a place where you can sit comfortably for a few breaths. Women across the world naturally gravitate to this pose in birth. You may or may not have birth in this pose. But doing this in preparation, leading up to the birth, may help make your birth easier as it opens up the groin muscles, the hips. Here you would soften the pelvic floor as the baby passes through the canal. Big breath in. Lift the chest, open the heart. Exhale, release your hands down to the ground. Carefully, hands come to your knees. Rise up. Again, pause if you feel dizzy. Take a big breath in. Exhale. Moving to the other side. You're welcome to come right back down to the ground. Left knee will be on the chip block this time. Right foot forward. Using your blocks for support, using the chair. A subtle tuck of the tailbone. A deep breath in. Exhale. Find that sweet spot that works for you. You may take your elbow into your knee. Your hand can come down to this other block if you like as you take the arm up and slightly over towards the right. Big breath. Slowly release. Good. Use this leg, the chair, whatever you need to help you stand up. And setting up for a tree pose on the other side. The foot could stay down below. You could use your hand for support. You could take a totally different position this time, perhaps taking your hands together at heart center. Just be mindful of your balance. Feel free to hold the chair or hold a wall if needed. Root down through the supporting leg, right through the toes. Inhale, rise up, grow taller. Lift the chest. Open the heart. Take a big breath in. Exhale, draw your hands back down to the baby. Big breath. Exhale. Release. Warrior two on the other side. We'll step away from the chair for this side. Left leg supported, knee over ankle, right leg long. You may keep your hands on your waist. You may take your arms out to the side. Relax the shoulders, relax the face. Deepen the breath. One more. Exhale, straightening your left leg for Trikonasana. Perhaps not using a block for this side, just being soft with your lower arm. Keep a subtle bend through the left knee. Press down equally through both legs. Open the chest, shoulder leaning back. Right hand could stay on your back. Or reaching, extending up, lifting you up. Big breaths. One more. Exhale, gaze down, bend your knee. And then coming back, and this time we'll take a wide angle position. Forward folding. Certainly won't feel great as you progress in your pregnancy, as the belly expands. Wide leg position may be the best one for you. If it doesn't work for you or you start to feel lightheaded, then please come out of it. Bend the knees a touch. Inhale, reach your arms out and up. As you exhale, sit into a squat. Slide your hands down your knees. Slowly fold forward. And find a position that works for you. It might mean that you bend your knees more than you normally do, that you shake the head and neck out. Just a short moment here. Big breath in. Exhale, relax. Good. From here, making our way down to the ground. You can bring your legs down carefully. And we'll make our way onto the mat. Moving down to the ground from the side is a lot gentler than laying flat from seated to supine. So there's less abdominal involvement. So the belly can stay soft. You could use a block or a pillow for your head, or you could use your arm as a pillow. And I often even like to tuck a little something under the belly so it can rest. Having a block or a pillow between the knees may also provide comfort as it separates the legs to keep the pelvis open. And lying on your left side may generally be more comfortable. Less pressure, kidneys, the heart, the belly, everything much more happy. Take a few moments to connect to your baby. You may close your eyes as we move into Shavasana, the final resting pose. And this position may be something you gravitate towards more and more to sleep throughout the rest of your pregnancy. Soften your face, your jaw, your neck. Relax all the way down your spine. Your hips, your legs, all the way down to your tiptoes. Take deeper, fuller breaths. Notice as you relax, the baby relaxes too. Big breath in. Exhale. Slowly rise up. Use your hands to assist you. Rising up to a seated position. Take a comfortable seat, sitting up on a block. Allow the belly to soften, reconnect. As you sit tall, notice the space you've created in your spine, in your abdomen, in your hips. A moment to honor your incredible vessel, your transforming body, as you support this little being through creation. With love and support as a nurturing mother to be. Honor and gratitude. Ooh, feeling little gratitude back at me there. Close with one final Om. Take a big breath in. Exhale out the mouth. Let the vibrations radiate from your heart down to your baby. Namaste. I hope you found some useful tips and tools of how you can practice yoga throughout the later stages of pregnancy and connect to your baby.